The letter didn't shout. It didn't threaten. It didn't beg. It arrived quietly, tucked into my mailbox like it belonged there, like it had every right to tell me what to do. I remember standing there longer than usual, the late afternoon sun hitting the fresh asphalt beneath my boots. The road was still new, still dark, still perfect. I had spent months planning it, weeks watching machines tear into earth that had never been touched before, and more money than most people would ever understand just to make sure it was done right. And now, in my hand, was a thin white envelope from the HOA. HOA Road Usage Fee, $300. I read it slowly, once, then again, my eyes following each word as if they might suddenly change into something reasonable. They didn't. The letter went on about community impact, shared benefit, and required contribution. Monthly. Automatically enforced. Late fees applied. They weren't asking. They were charging me. For my own road. At first, I actually laughed. A short, sharp laugh that echoed in the quiet air. The kind of laugh you make when something is so ridiculous your brain refuses to accept it as real. But the laughter faded quickly, replaced by something heavier. Something colder. Because this wasn't a mistake. This was about control. I bought the land long before the HOA ever existed. Back then, the area was nothing but uneven ground, trees, and silence. Access was terrible. A narrow dirt trail cut through the property, turning into a muddy trap every winter and a dusty mess every summer. The realtor warned me that development might come someday, that things could change. I didn't care. I wanted space. I wanted freedom. I wanted land that no committee could tell me how to use. The HOA arrived years later like an invading force wrapped in smiles. Perfect houses. Identical lawns. Clean roads. Entry signs that promised community but felt more like borders. They built all around me, their neat lines stopping just short of my property. From the beginning, they assumed I'd join. At first, it was friendly. Neighbors waving. Invitations to meetings. Casual comments about how everyone here is part of the association. I explained calmly, every time, that my deed predated the HOA. That legally, I wasn't required to join. The smiles tightened. Soon, friendliness turned into pressure. Notes started appearing on my truck whenever I parked near their streets. Private road. HOA members only. Even though I wasn't using their roads anymore. They wanted to remind me that I was an outsider. Driving to my land remained miserable. Every storm made access worse. Meanwhile, the HOA's smooth road sat there, tempting me, waiting for me to cave. They thought inconvenience would break me. Instead, it pushed me to act. I decided to build my own road. Not a shortcut. Not a cheap fix. A real road. One that would end the argument forever. I hired surveyors to mark every inch of my boundaries. Engineers designed proper drainage and reinforcement. Permits were pulled. Inspections scheduled. I followed every rule so no one could challenge it later. When the machines arrived, the land transformed. Trees cleared. Earth leveled. Gravel laid. Asphalt poured. Day by day, the dirt path disappeared, replaced by a smooth black ribbon stretching across land that was mine and mine alone. When it was finished, the road didn't just work. It was better than anything the HOA had. That's when they noticed. At first, HOA residents just slowed down to stare. Then a few cars started using it. Quietly. Conveniently. It shaved time off their commute. Avoided congestion. Delivery trucks followed. Service vehicles followed. Even emergency vehicles started using it. I noticed. I said nothing. Then the letter arrived. The $300 fee. They claimed my road benefited from proximity to HOA infrastructure. That because their residents were using it, I owed them money. I called the HOA office. Linda answered. HOA president. Her voice was calm, practiced, and sharp underneath. You built the road, she said, but it impacts the community. I asked her how. Our residents are using it. She said it like that settled everything. So you're charging me, I replied slowly, because you're trespassing on my property. Her tone changed instantly. If you don't comply, enforcement action will follow. That night, I didn't sleep. Not because I was afraid. Because I was angry. The next morning, I hired a lawyer. Not a loud one. Not a dramatic one. The kind who reads deeds like stories and smiles when power gets sloppy. I brought him everything, the surveys, the permits, the letters. He read quietly. Then he leaned back. They've made a serious mistake, he said. My road wasn't just convenient. It had become critical. Emergency response times to the far end of the HOA were faster using my road. Without it, certain areas were barely compliant with safety standards. The HOA knew this. Instead of negotiating, They tried to bully me. My lawyer sent a formal response rejecting the fee and outlining my ownership rights. It included a warning. Continued unauthorized use of the road would be considered trespassing. They ignored it. Cars kept coming. Trucks. HOA maintenance vehicles. After hours traffic. So I escalated. The gate went up overnight. Steel. Reinforced. Electronic keypad. Cameras. Impossible to misunderstand. The next morning, chaos erupted. My phone exploded with calls and emails. HOA residents complained. Linda showed up in person, heels striking asphalt she no longer controlled. "You can't do this," she shouted. "You're endangering the community." I stood calmly behind the gate. "This is private property," I said. "You're trespassing." They filed for an emergency injunction, claiming I was a danger to public safety. Court came quickly. Linda painted me as selfish, stubborn, uncooperative. A man who refused to be part of a community. My lawyer presented facts, deeds, permits, maps. The fine letter. "Your Honor," he said, "they attempted to charge my client for using land he owns, because they were using it without permission." The judge frowned. Then came proof of alternative access routes, longer, less convenient, but legally sufficient. The injunction was denied. That decision shattered the HOA. Members demanded answers. Audits followed. Financial abuse surfaced. Selective enforcement. Unauthorized fines. Abuse of power. Linda resigned. The new board contacted me weeks later, suddenly polite, asking for access agreements. I said no. The gate stayed. Now, every morning, I drive down the road I built. Past the cameras. Onto the open highway. I pass the HOA entrance where cars line up, stuck on the road they control. They tried to charge me $300. Instead, they lost control of access entirely. And I learned something powerful. When people mistake patience for weakness, the strongest revenge is standing firm, knowing your rights, and refusing to surrender them.